Oh yeah, peace world, peace. Welcome back to Goddess Dawn Speaks, aka the $1 trillion goddess baby. I'm Goddess Dawn, and I'm back with another story about this P. Diddy saga. And this story is about the author or the editor of Kim's Lost Words. I don't believe it's fake, personally. He interviewed on Long Crime. I'm gonna play snippets of that interview, and he answers all the questions. I'm convinced people are mad because he's Caucasian and they feel like he's being predatory and stealing from a black woman. But I don't think that's the case. I think that people in her camp or people who had access to this information and tapes wanted this information out, but couldn't find the right person to put it out. This man's background as an investigator and a publisher, whatever all the things he's done, puts him in a right position to be the one to be bold enough to do this thing. He has been around this block before. Most people wouldn't touch it, but I wanted to let you guys hear what he had to say. So let's go ahead and do that. I hope they. I'm gonna have to do some commentary. Okay, don't be mad, but I can't. I don't want them to, strike my chin.
For the beautiful, strong, kind, and loving woman she was. Her memory should not be tainted by her conspiracy theories. We ask that everyone please respect our mother, Kim Porter, and hold her legacy in high regard so that she may rest in peace. It's what she deserves. We love you and miss you, Mommy, Quincy, Christian, Jesse, and Delilah.
And of course, this was a part of the statement that the kids supposedly put out. I'm convinced that Diddy's team put this out on their behalf because Diddy has always controlled the kids and always controlled their narrative. And why would it stop now?
And just recently, even Combs authorized his attorney, Erica Wolf, to release a statement on his behalf regarding this new book, stating,
"In surgery, timing is
of
critical.
Course there's ads.
And for a career critical technology,
the Kim Porter memoir is also offensive, a shameless attempt to profit from tragedy. Chris Todd, the author, has no respect for Miss Porter or her family who deserve better. Unlike the fabrications in his sickening memoir, it is an established fact that Miss Porter died of natural causes. May she rest in peace." Now, when we say memoir, to be clear, there is no information verifying that Porter actually authorized these writings or authorized a book to be written by her at any point in time. Even the author, Chris Todd, can't confirm whether these are actually Porter's words or not, but he believes it's true, claiming that Porter herself created the information on a flash drive, which Todd says she gave to friends prior to her death. Again, her family and loved ones have denied this, but either way. So with that in mind, I sat down with this author, and he goes by the name Chris Todd.
Wait a minute, though. The family and friends, in my opinion, from what I recall, have not denied there has been information left behind in their care for Kim. Al B. Sure even said it. That he knew that there were things that the feds now have in their possession. So, yeah.
And he published this book under the pseudonym Jamal T. Millwood, seemingly in reference to a conspiracy regarding Tupac Shakur's death. So look, with all that in mind, I'm going to play you portions of this interview, and you can make your own judgment about what to take away from this. All right, Chris, thank you so much for coming on here on Sidebar. Happy to have you. So first, for anybody knows, how did you come about the Kim Porter story? How did you get these materials? How did you get involved in this?
Yeah, it's been a crazy journey. I appreciate you having me on today. Thank you so much. About 6 to 8 months ago, I found out through another person, kind of like a manager of mine, that there was possibly Kim Porter's flash drive. Also, there was talk of a iCloud, a password, and things that were left behind by Kim Porter. At first, I didn't really know what to believe. Obviously, I know a lot about the story. And then through about a month or two, I got to personally meet somebody very close to these sources, let's say. Okay. There's a couple people, not just one person. And
Not just one person, not just one source. Okay, there are more than one person behind this, and that's important, and we'll get to that.
there's a celebrity source involved that was very close to Kim and Diddy. And so I kind of perked up a little bit, like, okay, I did a lot of research about the circles, and I was like, this could be true. This could be real. So I went down the rabbit hole and I investigated it to the best of my ability, quickly, as fast as I could. This is a big story. It's moving 1,000 miles an hour right now. And I do believe what I was given is real.
Can you share with us where this hard drive came from, how it was found, this flash drive, I should say? Where was it found, or it just came out of?
Flash drive.
Yeah, where did it come from?
Flash drive was held onto for 5 years. This flash drive is from Kim Porter.
Any reason why it was held onto? I know you're not going to reveal the name of your source or where you got it from, but why? Can you tell us why it was held onto for so long?
I think these people were afraid.
Because what's the main theme? What's the main theme here?
In the book, or in the we're talking about the book, or are we talking about?
Yeah, what's the main theme of the book, and also your interpretation of why it was held onto? You said there was a concern there. Well, what's the main theme?
Through our PIs right now, we do have some evidence that Kim Porter may have been poisoned and murdered.
And we actually, before you came on, we did an earlier sidebar episode where we had an expert on who said that it would be difficult to find a poison that would mask the symptoms of lobar pneumonia, that it would be the findings from the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office would be incorrect. They're a very thorough group. Why would he be wrong?
I'm not saying he's wrong, but we need into the people that are online, even these online sleuths, the bloggers. A lot of information comes out from this kind of community, and there's talk of toxins being in her system. At first, it was called deferred at first, then it was changed.
But how do you separate people who always have conspiracy theories and rumors versus legitimate facts? I mean, you believe that there's something here. You said you did your independent research. How can you tell our viewers and our listeners that there's something more here legitimately and not just listening to the noise out there?
I thought it was widely known that this particular coroner and reason for death summary of pneumonia was false, because that was the second coroner. The first coroner deemed it to be homicide and then was fired and then murdered, unalived. And it was reported. I'm pretty sure, legitimately reported. But let's see what he says.
I'm really more focused on the book right now, and the memoir. As for investigating, doing the autopsy, looking at the autopsy close,
okay,
I'm open to that. Yeah, but mainly I'm focused on the memoir.
So let's talk about this. How do you know for sure it's her words? It's a memoir from her, because it's in typewritten, right? It's you would say that it was from a computer. How do you know it's from her?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I'm getting that asked all the time. I work a lot of cases. Okay, I claim to have solved the two most famous cold cases in history. Okay,
and I want to know what those two cold cases are. Is it Tupac and Biggie? What are these two cases? Because I don't think he ends up mentioning them, but let's.
I like to think I'm good at what I do. So when they came to me, and when I work with any whistleblower or source, I don't always believe them. I don't believe everything they say. I put them through my test, by my field, my spirituality, forensics. There's a lot of things that I do. Dealing with the sources and the people that I've contacted closely, obviously it's a dark story. It's dangerous. I'm familiar with this. Whistleblowers and sources don't always tell you everything. They don't show you metadata. They don't show you things that are going to trace it directly to them. So, like I said in the Rolling Stone article and another one that's coming out today or tomorrow, if you put my feet to the fire and God asked me life or death, do you know it's 100% her flash drive? No, I do not. But based on I prayed on it, and I felt I was to take a leap of faith, so I came forward with it.
Some people would say, why publish it if you're not 100% sure?
Well, I also am an investigative producer.
I just got paid $60,000.
And that's the key question. Why do it if you don't have 100%
Author.
fact?
I'm a storyteller. A lot of my fans know me very well. And the media in Hollywood, a lot of times, they don't want the truth. So they do projects and stories and unscripted and scripted that are not always completely 100% true. I'm no different than them. I would like to turn this book into a movie or a series, and we're shopping that right now.
And there were people in the comments that had a problem with that. From what I understand, he's donating this to charity. I mean, it would be nice if her children could benefit, but he just said he's in the business. He's been doing this. He's a storyteller, all of these things. So it makes sense that if he's going to publish the book, and I'm assuming, I don't know what rights he has personally to do all these things. Did he purchase the rights to whoever these sources are? But it's not surprising to hear that these plans are on his agenda. Not at all.
What, from reading these pages, what is your overall takeaway? If this is in fact Kim Porter's memoir, what is your takeaway from it?
It's disturbing. It's dark, it's sad. This is an abused woman telling her story. When I first read the whole thing, I only had a couple pages at first. Now, as for the tapes, I've been told that I can have access to the tapes.
Start there. What tapes are you talking about?
The big one.
You're talking about sex tapes.
Yeah, but with very famous people.
Okay, so talk to us about what you were told about the tapes.
Now, remember, it's been, and it has been rumored prior to the book. I've heard a lot of these things from out of people's mouths. Gene Deal, for one. That story about Kadada and the ginger ale with Diddy pissing in the ginger ale. Gene Deal told that story. He didn't tell the details around the story that we got in the book with Kadada confronting Diddy about Tupac and all the things. But that story has been corroborated by Gene Deal, his bodyguard, who's on YouTube and been on YouTube for years, telling his side of things, or about the side of Puffy or P. Diddy we don't see. So that's why I'm saying some of these stories we've heard other people tell parts of, but not all the details we're getting in this book. So just saying.
That if I pass the test, they trust me, I will be the one to do it.
Who's they?
The sources
and that's important, that he has to pass a test first before he can get access to tapes and other things they have, because they need to make sure he's going to keep his mouth shut and keep those sources hidden, because those sources don't want to be point. And he probably gave blood to say, listen, I'm going to keep my word, and you can take me out of here if not. I feel like he's being truthful with regard to the information that he has.
And the people around the community of Kim and Diddy.
And with all due respect, why wouldn't they bring that information to law enforcement? Why wouldn't they just drop it in, CNN's or ABC or any other news outlets mailbox? Why come to you as opposed to law enforcement or another media organization?
If one of the people are underage in the sex tape, go to. I'm not going to comment right now if I'm in possession of the tapes or not, per my lawyer. So, but to answer your question, these people are scared.
He literally said a whole lot there. If they're underage people in the tapes, he has to go straight to the FBI, which per his lawyer. And sounds like that's what he's done. He doesn't have possession because he handed them over. I believe that Gloria Allred let us know that it is illegal to possess watch, this pornography that you don't have consent, or these people didn't give their consent. So I don't think he would ever say I have the tapes or I've watched the tapes, but to say I have had to go straight to the FBI with the tapes, which says that he's in touch with the FBI.
And what you're saying, like, well, if they just dropped it off at CNN or they just emailed it, that's not the appropriate way to do this.
Okay.
Again, I think that's even illegal.
Well, I mean, look, you're in a very interesting position right now, and clearly a lot of people are very interested in what you've presented. But I mentioned this before, I'm going to mention this again. As you know, this has been met with criticism. Porter's family and friends say this memoir is a fake. Albie Shore says it's fabricated, that it's offensive. Reportedly also came out and said, quote, a significant suit headed right for the heads of the responsible parties who dragged my name into this. Porter's friends, Kimora Lee Simmons, LaWanda Lane, told Rolling Stone that they don't know you at all. Lane said every page in that book is false.
Bear with me with the ads. But of course, wouldn't you think these people would deny that it's true if they aren't the ones behind giving it to this man, even if they themselves have a copy? Because why would they want someone else to benefit?
Memoir, that she would never write a memoir, that she liked her life to be private. Rolling Stone also reported that a source close to the Combs family says the family is exploring all of their options and saying, quote, the baseless pages in the book not only misrepresent Miss Porter's lived experience and legacy, but also continue to cause unnecessary distress to her loved ones. And her children came out with a statement today on Instagram, which I read before. What's your reaction to all that?
We did $1 million in sales in 12 days. The people want the truth. There's people writing me from all over the world, thanking me. What you just said, I know I'm still reading this stuff. I can't even keep up with it right now. I've actually have to hire people to read the stuff. We have to think about who these people are talking about. They're possibly talking about the devil. So if they...
Oh, that was deep. So just to do my due diligence over here, he let us know about how much money, $1 million in 12 days. That's huge. He's not bragging. He's just saying, this is how interested people are in this story. People are wanting the truth behind Kim Porter's death. People are thanking me for doing this, for being a truth teller. People are, overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed with the response. And I know that I've seen comments of people being upset about the $1 million, and the fact that he stated that, saying, oh yeah, there it is. He's money hungry. He's doing this for clout. He's doing this for money. That is not what that means. If you really are listening, I think a lot of people are looking at this man and see first and foremost that he's Caucasian. And that is all they need to see before they dismiss this book. They don't want nothing to do with this book if this man is behind the book. The fact that he used the name Jamal Millworth, I believe, which Jamal obviously sounds like a black man's name, that even made it worse for these people. He's appropriating a black person's name so he could hide behind a black man when he's really not. And he's being a predator over a black woman's life story, all these things. I don't believe none of that. First of all, from what I understand, looking into Kim's life, her best friend, or more than one, were white women or white people. She was around white people all the time. The spaces she was in was white people, a lot of white people, even growing up. So it's not like she's not these spaces and communities. She was. We'll let him speak.
They say it's not real. Remember who's saying that. Okay?
That was important. Let me go back.
We did $1 million in sales in 12 days. The people want the truth. There's people writing me from all over the world, thanking me. What you just said, I know I'm still reading this stuff. I can't even keep up with it right now. I've actually have to hire people to read the stuff. We have to think about who these people are talking about. They're possibly talking about the devil. So if they say it's not real, remember who's saying that.
And that's important, because what is that saying about the biggest trick ever played is the devil making people believe he didn't exist, or something to that effect?
Okay? A lot of people believe it's real. A lot of African Americans believe it's real. They're telling me, they're calling me.
And there are people in the comments mad about this statement, because why are you singling out African Americans? But duh, this is African American people's business. The very thing you guys are saying about him, like, why are you even in this? That's why he's pointing it out, to say that there are people thanking me, black people are happy I did this, not just the ones talking ish in the family and Al B. Sure, who was put in a very bad light in the book. Of course he's going to be mad about the book. There was someone else, who was it, that said they're considering, I think Faith Evans, that I saw on an Instagram post, considering a lawsuit. Considering, not definitely gonna sue this MF. The reason people don't want to sue, if it's true, is because they know they will have to bring out the facts if they sue this man. If they sue this man, he's going to have to show what he has. He's going to have to show his hand. And seems like, to me, they don't want that, because there are tapes that back up what was in that memoir. And that's why they were able to name names. He even goes on, well, I'll let him say it, but he was able to name the names because it's like, okay, I dare you to sue me, so we can really show in court that this is legit, that you did do these things and it's real. So
I'm talking to all the bloggers and podcasters because I'm an open book. I talk to the little people.
Oh.
So my point is, I still am assessing what's being said by everybody close. I get it, but this is what happens, just like on my other cases. Yeah, they said they didn't do it too.
With Spectrum's easy self-install.
Yeah, exactly. People are going to want to separate themselves from this because it's so salacious. And even if you aren't in it, you were there. And if people know you were there and didn't say anything, you look bad. So yeah, I'm still feeling what he's saying.
Is right. So, like I said, this is going to play out. I can't say I'm 100% right this second, but I'm not pulling that book down. Under my First Amendment, my civil rights, I'm not pulling it down.
See how he's doubling down on the book? That tells me too that this man knows that there's truth to this stuff.
Are you prepared to potentially be sued over?
Absolutely, I'm already prepared. And also, let's remember, Amazon, Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. Okay? I'm sure he's for freedom of speech and also some form of free press. I've been blocked and censored by the media for years, and I'm not going to bring it up. Everyone can do their own homework. It's not happening to me anymore.
So there was a quote from you in that Rolling Stone article where you say, if I'm so hot and my story and project's #1 on Amazon, where is everybody? Where's my agent? Where's CIA? The people I called for 12 years. I'm trying to explain to you, this is not about Kim Porter. It's about Chris Todd. And I wonder if somebody could interpret that statement and say, you know, he's taking this and he's saying whatever he needs to say for fame and fortune. It's not about getting the real message out there. It's not about getting Kim Porter's story out there. It's about Chris Todd. What would your response be to that?
You know, I worked really hard to get to this point. And the other case that I did recently, that was supposed to happen like this. That was supposed to go viral. It didn't. And that's up to God. I don't control that. Obviously, we're here at this moment, and it's probably the biggest scandal story in America right now. I feel that I just work hard keep my heart and mind open, and I'm kind of guided spiritually. And I will say this, and I don't know how this will come off to people. I have many cases and many victims. My clients are mostly murdered victims or deceased victims. I am the voice of the voiceless, right? Now, what I meant by saying like, well, that's not about Kim so much, it's about Chris Todd. That's to keep a little bit of a buffer for her, okay? So that everyone's not so focused. And I know also the sources, they know that too. And I'm not stupid. Are these sources playing me a little bit? Maybe, but that's okay. If I have to go through some pain and hardship, if I have to go to court, it's not going to be my first time in court. And I put out a message to some of the people to get to the lawyers, be careful. Because remember, you're talking about Kim. It turns out that it's typos and they're her lies. Remember, you're talking about abused woman.
And would you be willing to submit these papers to an independent auditor of some kind or an independent agency to verify that it's, her work? I don't know how they would be able to do it, but because it's not handwritten. But if there was a mechanism in place to independently verify it, would you do that?
I have some things I haven't released yet that can show very much more that this is really hers.
And boom. He has things he hasn't released yet.
I have to do it piece by piece. And also the sources are testing me a little, and they're trying to, we all agreed that we need to see what happens when the memoir comes out first. I have 2 pages from that flash drive that are endearing, they're heartfelt, they're actually done by someone else wanting to help Kim. And that really explains more of why this is happening, why they waited all these years, why they're using me. I mean, they're calling me a culture vulture and a parasite and a colonizer. I get it. I'm just telling you right now, God brought me to her, or God brought her to me. I'm sorry that I'm white.
Let me ask you this. So the timing of this, Sean Combs was arrested and indicted last week.
And this is important too, because this was also a question I had, and I actually made an assumption that this person knew Diddy would be arrested a few days after the release of the book, but it's something else.
The book then comes out. Well, actually, that's not true. The book has been out for how long?
This is what we're going to talk about, and this is going to be fascinating to you. And I also want you to bring up the name Jamal T. Millwood.
But I wanted to ask you this.
Okay, the book was published September 6th.
Okay, the book was published September 6th.
Sean Combs was arrested later. He wasn't,
yeah.
I didn't know he was going to be arrested.
17.
That's what people are trying, they're confused about. They're thinking Diddy did this. Ugh. And they're saying, well, I didn't have some inside source that he's going to be arrested. I'm not the FBI.
Right.
CIA agent. Okay. So I took a leap of faith. Now, at that point, when it started to come out, it was kind of quiet until they did an article about me, which I'm grateful for. Then things exploded quickly. Okay. I would have put my name on the book if Sean Combs was actually in a jail cell. He wasn't.
And that kind of explains a lot too, as far as why he used a pseudonym, but then now is using his real name. And he's saying that he already told us he's spiritually led. Whether or not y'all believe that or not, I know exactly what he means by that. He was pulled to put that book out when he did. I'm sure it wasn't overnight either, that he felt like it's time is time. He put the book out, and then lo and behold, about a week later or so, Sean Combs is arrested. Now he's saying it was quiet before that. I guess somebody did a story on it. And then when Diddy was arrested, people felt more comfortable, I guess, putting it out in the open. And he says that since Diddy's in jail, then I'm sure he probably felt comfortable putting his real name out after that, because he said, it sounds like he's been feeling overlooked and like an underdog in his field. Like he's done the work, but he hasn't gotten the acknowledgement. He was looking for a viral moment with something he was working on previously. It never happened. But here we are now, and he's got this hot flash drive with all this stuff on there with the biggest star going through the most historical case, one of them. So anyway, let's move on.
It's cryptic. And that's why the book says for Kimberly Porter, not by. I can't say by her. I have some issues legally with that. So my point is, September 6th, it comes out. It's a leap of faith. It catches fire. He goes, okay, cool. I didn't know he was going to be arrested. So the timing, maybe there's some more spiritual element involved here.
Has law enforcement gotten in touch with you after this this book became so public? The book became published and these allegations came out, or not even allegations, the words that you published. Has the law enforcement reached out to you?
Oh,
Guys, I'm about to cash a check for
I was
100.
ready to ding my bell because I know what he's about to say. Oh, dang.
So,
Hold on.
Chris, before we this book became so public, the book became published and these allegations came out, or not even allegations, the words that you published. Has the law enforcement reached out to you?
I cannot comment on that.
You know what that means?
So, Chris, before we finish up, what do you want people to take away from this? And again, because you're in this very interesting position, what are you hoping people take away from this, and what can they expect within the next 6 months?
I want people to hear and feel Kim's voice. So that I didn't write that book. None of it. I edited some of it. I moved some formatting around to help her punch the chapters. I put the disclaimer in. I X'd out certain people. They didn't want me to. They wanted to burn the forest down. I X'd out a couple people in scenes, and I removed the photos also from the book. I am going to release the photos probably today.
Wow. So there were photos to go with the chapters in the book. And the sources wanted him to, what do you call it, burn the forest down. They wanted him to name everybody. He's the one that chose to put the X's in the book. And that means he himself is scared of whoever this is. That's why I think it's somebody like a Snoop Dogg. The person, I think one of them is a rapper, maybe a Dr. Dre, or maybe even higher than that. Clive Davis, I don't know. But this man made a decision to X certain names and scenarios out, or certain names in certain scenarios out. And he said he's going to release the photos. He said today. So I don't know that this was, I don't know when this was. Where can we find his information? We need to know where we could see what he drops.
As to what happens.
What photos? What photos do you mean?
There's photos in there that no one's ever seen that are from the flash drive.
Can you give us any clue about what those are?
I released the Kim Porter abuse photo, we call it, where I had sent it to reporters with blue on her face, like blurred out. That was released by the Daily Mail. You can see it there. No one has that photo. No one ever saw it. I have a one-time use for it. So I'm going to give that possibly to other outlets. I have other photos with Sean Diddy Combs with famous music executives. I have them doing some things. There's no nudity. It's not sexual. What I'm saying is they're pictures of him that tell a story. And so nobody ever saw these pictures. So sources wanted me to reveal them, but I wanted just Kim's voice to be heard first and just for her to talk to the audience. But now that, the lawyer for Sean Combs, one of them, is using words against me and saying things, I'm now going to start releasing things. It's my turn to fight back.
Let me just end on this.
Oh, I heard that. He's basically pissed off at one of Diddy's lawyers, probably the one that's always in the news, always putting his foot in his mouth, looking like a clout chasing idiot, challenging him. I think I remember some of the things he said about the book, as far as nobody believing it and that's fake and nobody, is co-signing it. But Of course, he's Diddy's lawyer, and that Diddy is implicated all up and through that book. Of course, he's going to say that. Of course, he's going to be upset and threaten.
In terms of your research into Kim Porter, you said you looked into this. I'm sure you got a great understanding of who she is. You hear her family saying she was a private person, would never write a memoir. Do you disagree with that? Maybe whatever was handed to you was written by somebody else to get this narrative out. So back to the overall question of how you think this comes from Kim Porter. Do you think she really was the kind of person that would write something like this to get it out there, or not?
I do. And I've dealt with a lot of victims on cases. And if her death had mysterious circumstances and she's coughing up blood at her Toluca Lake house, there's some suspicious things about her body being moved and where the evidence is. Look at what she's saying that he did to her. Okay. He's threatened her many times. So, and now the thing too, look, if I was saying this about some kind of halfway criminal, we're talking about Sean Holmes. Think about that. So I'm all for it. I will fight for her. And if somebody proves to me that it's fake, albeit prove it.
All right. Chris Todd, thank you so much for.
Okay, we got to protect Chris Todd. I think he has another name attached to him as well. But yeah, we got to keep we got to protect Chris Todd. I believe him that if he's an advocate for victims, he's been working with victims for years in this capacity, in the capacity of an investigator and an advocate. So it makes sense that he would take this on, as especially that also he's looking for his moment. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're working hard in a field and you feel like you ish and you see other people rising to the top and you're putting in hard work and you have great things going on, but yet nobody is seeing you or hearing you, and you feel like you're in a glass bubble. But then here you come across this that shatters that glass bubble. And now all of a sudden everybody's looking at you, everybody's hearing you, everybody's seeing you. It feels good, right? And you feel like you finally made it. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that has nothing to do with Kim putting this flash drive in people's hands for something happened to her. That's how serious it was for her to feel like I might not make it. And I'm going to tell you this as well, as a writer, I am a published author, and a writer, an English major. I'm a writer from childhood. When I write fiction, I put everything on the page. You throw it up. It's like vomiting. You just put it all out there. And your writing process goes through many phases. And by the time you're finished with the book, a lot of that stuff that you put on the page is going to be deleted. A lot of things are going to be changed. You don't edit yourself when you're in the beginning stages of writing a book. And it sounds like she was in the outline phase, and that's even further in the process. It's probably one of the first things you do is an outline. Your first draft comes after the outline, well after. First draft comes after many edits. If you have editors working with you, it's changing a lot of hands, a lot of ideas and feedback, and so what he got in his hands was a first attempt, a start, this very first start of a book. And I said fiction. It doesn't matter what it is. Fiction. I have nonfiction book. I have one I'm ready to publish actually very soon. You put everything down, but the editing and the cleaning up of the book, formatting, typesetting, all the things, it takes time, money. It's exhaustive if you have other things going on in life, because me personally, up late at night working on it. So what he had in his hands to work with and what we got, it makes sense, is all I'm saying. I think that's all that I wanted to cover with regard to this author. I'm very much looking forward to what he is going to be sharing. I hope he sticks to his word and does reveal whatever else he has access to. And I hope whatever tests that he's supposed to be passing for these sources actually, the tests, he passes the test and he is able to access other things and give us more, because somebody's got to do it. And like I said, new era, age of Aquarius, it's time to be more transparent and honest about things. And we are not used to getting this type of information. We are not used to seeing these types of people get taken down like the way it's happening. And Hollywood as a whole, at some point, sounds like it's going down, crumbling to pieces. And I'm here for it. Only for those who deserve it, though. Okay. So with all that said, that's all I got for now. Till next time. Bye.